By now we all heard about it in the news. Jeff Bezos has left Amazon. What does that mean? Stick around. This video is brought to you by Email 10K. Learn how to book meetings with billion-dollar brands and take your company to the next level at email10k.com. So full disclosure out here, one of my biggest bets this year was Walmart options, all right? I am betting hard that Walmart goes up at least 10%. I needed to break $163 by the end of the year. And so I am a big Walmart fanboy. So since then, and studying a bunch of Walmart, I have bumped into Amazon a few times. Because in the retail wars, it's always been, in the last few years, Walmart versus Amazon versus Target. Target's down here somewhere, way down below everyone. So Walmart versus Amazon, with Amazon quickly approaching. So is Jeff Bezos leaving good news or bad news for me as a Walmart investor? I'd say yes, and actually here's why. So Jeff Bezos left Amazon. No, he didn't leave altogether. He's keeping all his stock. And the reason why he said that he was gonna leave is to focus on his other projects, things like Blue Origin or any of the other stuff he's doing. Most people, the rumors on the street are that he's going to focus more on the space stuff. I think he left because his ex-wife took a big portion of his Amazon stock and he hated seeing her get richer off of his work, so he had to pivot to a new company. But that's just my personal take on things. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty, because I also have not just the stock investor's perspective on this, I got the entrepreneur's perspective. Somebody who's seen multiple CEOs that were founders step down from their companies or leave. If we're talking about Walmart, we got Sam Walton leaving Walmart in the early 90s, including Howard Schultz stepping down at Starbucks. His book on his return onward was one of my favorite business books of all time, so that's worth reading. All about how Howard Schultz came back to Starbucks after having it fall apart when he stepped out, which a lot of people are worried is what's gonna happen with Jeff Bezos' Amazon. And actually, there's an entire Wikipedia page about this. So on this Wikipedia page, it's got all of this data about founder CEOs, so CEOs that also have founded the company versus regular CEOs. And what they found is performance over time goes down with a regular CEO versus a founder CEO, especially in the early days. Founder CEOs are a lot more likely to do acquisitions like Jeff Bezos had done with Whole Foods and Audible and Zappos. Rest in peace, Tony Hsieh. So are we expecting a decline in Amazon? Yes, but not really just for those reasons. So, okay, without the founder CEO in place, with Jeff Bezos out, and this new guy whose name is Andy Jassy, former head of AWS, with Andy Jassy in and Jeff Bezos out, I'm expecting Amazon to have fewer acquisitions, but mainly Andy Jassy is head of AWS, Amazon Web Services, which a lot of people say is what has taken the stock to new highs. It's not really that it's the major retail growth, but it really is the technology. So if Andy Jassy is gonna come in and help take AWS to new highs, what I think that means is Amazon is giving up the retail wars. So as a Walmart investor, which may or may not be relevant to you, that's a great sign. Because one of the biggest problems that Walmart faced was competition from literally only Amazon. Target's not a competitor, Kroger's not a competitor, Walmart is everywhere in the nation, and Amazon was everywhere in the nation online. So now, by putting in Jassy instead of somebody who had a background in Amazon and e-commerce, I'm assuming they're giving up. Jassy's gonna try to grow Amazon, but you can tell where their priorities are. Amazon's priority is AWS. So I like that from a stock investing point of view. And from a founder, CEO point of view, I'm expecting Amazon to not do as good for a few years until Jassy gets his footing. You saw it also with Steve Jobs. When Steve Jobs left Apple and they had that new guy in there, what was his name? Jeff Bridges? The American actor Jeff Bridges? No, hang on. Who was that from the Steve Jobs movie? You remember that Steve Jobs movie? It was called Jobs. One of my favorite movies of all time. Not the Ashton Kutcher one. So when Steve Jobs left Apple in the early 90s and he was replaced by Jeff Daniels, I love that Jobs movie. It wasn't really Jeff Daniels, but that's, you guys get it. So Steve Jobs was replaced by John Sculley, and the company did so bad that they had to go get Steve Jobs back. They acquired his computer company just so they could have him back in the company. Starbucks when Howard Schultz, former presidential candidate and one of my favorite entrepreneurs, Howard Schultz, when he left Starbucks, there was a huge period of decline with Starbucks, and Howard Schultz wrote all about this in his book Onward. He had to come back and close a bunch of stores and refocus the company. Then they started doing good again. So there are two ways that this could play out. Either Jeff Bezos really is done for good at Amazon and he's gonna go off and do Blue Origin, or maybe he's just gonna retire, or he's gonna have to come back to Amazon at some point and refocus it. Both of those things could happen. Did Jeff leave Amazon altogether? He's on the board, and it's a standard process for slowly skirting your way out of a company. So no, he's still around for most of 2021, and then he'll be basically gone, mentally checked out, but he still owns a bunch of shares. So Jeff has a couple other companies that he wants to work on. He said the Day One Families Fund, which is annual leadership awards to organizations and civic groups doing compassionate, needle-moving work. Maybe that's what he's gonna do. The Bezos Earth Fund, which helps get people carbon neutral, helping global warming and stuff. And then the other one he talked about was the Washington Post, which is that newspaper that exists, blog now. What happened to newspapers? Are all newspapers just blogs? So the blog, the Washington Post, is the other business he could be running. And then there's Blue Origin, which recently lost a contract for the lunar lander and is not even in the same field as SpaceX. I'm on Team Elon, if you guys haven't noticed. Even though the Tesla stock is gonna crash down into the ground super hard, I'm still on Team Elon, so that's fine. So I'm on Team SpaceX, I'm on Team Walmart, and both of those put me directly against Jeff Bezos, if you can or can't tell from this video so far. So what does that mean for Amazon in the stock market? I would say short term, it's gonna dip, it's gonna fall. I still think we're in a hyperinflationary period, so really it'll increase with hyperinflation or with regular inflation going up. So we should actually see Amazon continue to grow, but we're not gonna see this kind of crazy growth like we saw with Jeff Bezos as the CEO. What does that mean for young entrepreneurs out there? I think it's really cool what Jeff Bezos was able to do. He built this company over 20 years. I think he was there for 27 years, something like that. And he grew Amazon from a single item, books, into this whole thing. Jeff Bezos has said that he was originally going to call the company Amazon, he was going to call it Relentless, because he wanted to be relentless and keep moving and moving and growing and growing and growing and expanding. And I think that's sick. And I also think it's cool that he's able to step out and work on new stuff. He didn't get trapped in Amazon. And you're actually starting to see that with a lot of these CEOs. Mark Zuckerberg's thinking of leaving Facebook. Like, there's a lot of these CEOs that are making moves to get out. Actually, the beginning of 2020 saw the most Fortune 500 CEOs either step down or put in their resignation. Jeff Bezos looks like he waited a little bit longer so he could get a record quarter for Amazon before he announced his stepping down. But 2020 was actually a major year for CEOs stepping down. One of my other heroes slash digital mentors, John Legere from T-Mobile, also stepped down in 2020. The CEO of Disney stepped down, who I also like, the guy who spun up, who's had the idea for Disney Plus, he stepped down at Disney at the beginning of 2020. So a lot of CEOs, 2020, 2021, a lot of CEOs are moving around. What's that mean for young entrepreneurs? I think there's a big space in competing with Amazon right now. Actually, Tai Lopez, I think, might be doing the right thing. He might be the winner in all of this because he's bought Radio Shack and Pier 1 and all of these companies that he's launching as independent e-commerce stores. If Amazon is moving off of e-commerce and they're not gonna focus on it, then people like Tai Lopez are going to be winning with their companies like Radio Shack. Did you know Tai Lopez owns Radio Shack, by the way? I love that. You know how many Lamborghinis you could buy now that you own Radio Shack? So what does it mean for young entrepreneurs? There's actually a lot of opportunity for innovation in the e-commerce space, and there's a lot of opportunity at Walmart. I was just talking to a founder the other day who had this perfect Chrome plugin, and all I could think was, you should pitch that to Walmart. Right now, there's a big opportunity in the retail wars. They just lost their biggest competitor, right? Coke and Pepsi were fighting the soda wars. It's like Pepsi opted out. Hertz and Avis were fighting to be the top rental car company. It's like Avis went home. Very big news for Walmart. That's all I can talk about. That's all I care about. I have so much money in Walmart, guys. I'm terrified. I hope it goes up. That's all I know. I hope it goes up. This video is brought to you by Email 10K. So you don't have a business idea, huh? Do you want to know what the best business to start is, regardless of market conditions? Check out the free presentation at email10k.com. We have over 200 students that are crushing it using this business strategy, even during this time. So check that out, email10k.com. That's Jeff Bezos. Let me know down in the comments, is this the type of content that you want to see? If you want more content like this, let's get a conversation going. What do you think about Jeff Bezos? Is this an opportunity for young entrepreneurs? Is this the beginning of the end for Amazon? Is this the beginning of an all new realm that Amazon is going to enter? Are they leveling up to level 60? Is this an expansion pack? Are they entering the Burning Crusade? Let me know down in the comments below. Like this video to encourage this type of content, and subscribe for more videos like this. If you want to start your business, check out email10k.com. It's the easiest way that you can do that. It's a tested system, and it's my favorite, most recommended course for starting your business. Of course, it's my course, and that's why I recommend it. So check that out, email10k.com. Thanks for watching the video. I'm Alex Berman.